Greetings, Professor and fellow students. My name is Patrick Dempsey, and I'm going to talk about my business case for IT. If you kindly pull up my PowerPoint, and let's get started. So basically, I'm talking about an IT solution for Panera Bread. Moving to slide 2 with the company overview of Panera, it's a bakery cafe concept consisting of 1,652 stores. About half are owned, and about half are franchise-owned. And after 2012, Panera had a really strong financial position. They have zero long-term debt, and they have a ton of cash, and they're a pretty profitable business for food service. They operate in the fast casual segment. It is a competitive segment because they kind of compete with different parts of the casual restaurant market. Their target market is mainly adults 18 to 34. And these are the most profitable customers for Panera Bread moving forward into the future. Now, if you move on to slide 3, just a quick introduction to the business issue. Currently, Panera is really popular, and during peak hours, there's a bottleneck at the registers. There's really inability in-store to handle customer demand in peak hours, and about 6 customers per day are walking out of the cafe. And because of this, we're losing about $14 million in sales a year. It's getting flushed right down the drain. Moving on to slide 4, there's some general assumptions when I did this case. Basically, I'm going to talk about corporate stores only. That's about half the total stores, 809 to be exact. I'm considering that there's enough food preparation labor to increase capacity at the register. The major financial benefit I'm going to discuss in this case is eliminating customer walkouts and the gross profit that we're going to generate through eliminating the walkouts. For financial analysis, the Panera's weighted average cost of capital is going to be 8%, and their gross profit margin is going to be 23%, and all projects will be assessed based on a 5-year life due to the deflationary nature of technology. Moving on to the 5th slide, the first option is to develop a mobile app. And doing so, I estimate, will decrease walkouts by about 15%, and this gives us about a $1.5 million annual reoccurring benefit. Now, there's also some other benefits that aren't as easily quantifiable. We can use already existing customer service metrics to measure things like wait time and customer satisfaction on the surveys, but also the mobile app gives us kind of another marketing channel, and it requires very little change in in-store infrastructure. Now, the costs associated with the mobile app, for making it on 3 different platforms, the true 2-year cost would probably be about $800,000, and there would also be an ongoing maintenance fee with the supplier of the app for updates and such. And since it's not in-store in the customer's face, we're going to have to launch an aggressive advertising campaign so we can really get people to download the app, because they need to download the app if it's going to help with the wait times. Moving on to the next slide, slide 6, option number 2 is to make implement a table-side tablet system. I'm going to estimate that this is going to decrease the number of walkouts by about 80%, and it's going to, improve the customer satisfaction metrics that are already in place at Panera that I just mentioned, and it's also going to lead to increased sales of 5% when people purchase stuff on the tablet. There's a lot of research that suggests people buy more when they purchase things on the tablet. And also, there's going to be some revenue from premium content as well. And premium content is basically purchasing games on the tablets in store while you're waiting for your food. Now, the cost associated with this alternative, most of these tablet companies, they have rental fees, so I calculated that as $10 per tablet per month, 20 tablets in each store, and it's going to be about $1.9 million reoccurring annually. And for this one, there's going to be a lot of labor necessary, both with the supplier, and I'm going to use in-house Panera IT to implement the tablet system, since we have to put so much hardware in, and that's going to be about $4.8 million. So that's the biggest cost associated with this portion, with this project alternative. Moving on to the next slide, slide 7 here. Option 3 is to implement a self-service kiosk. Basically, the benefits from this are the same as the tablets because it's in stores. I'm going to say It's going to be right in people's faces when they come in. There's going to be about an 80% reduction in walkouts, and that's going to save us $2.7 million annually reoccurring gross profit. And this is also going to improve the customer satisfaction metrics that are already in place at Panera. We can measure improved customer wait time and the satisfaction scores on the surveys. And in addition to that, the self-service kiosks are provided by Micros, and Panera has a long-standing contract with Micros, so that's one of the really big benefits of this alternative. Costs for this, I estimated, I think the cost around $4,000 for each kiosk, 2 kiosks per store, 809 corporate stores. It's going to be about $6.7 million one-time fee to put these kiosks in, and then we'll be done. But there's also going to be an ongoing maintenance charge of about $1.1 million a year that will be negotiated into the existing contract with Micros. Moving on to slide 8, this is the really kind of the meat and potatoes of the whole business case here, the financial analysis. These are the discounted cash flows or the financial consequences timeline of each 3 of the alternatives. And you can see that the highest net present value is the tablet alternative. Even though that it's not the highest internal rate of return, it has the highest net present value of any of the alternatives. Moving on to slide 9, because the tablet option has the highest net present value, I decided to go ahead and select that project. And I'm recommending to you today, to the Board of Trustees, that you please implement this project and provide the funding needed so we can hit the ground running with this project. Looking at slide 9, I conducted a sensitivity analysis, and the project still maintains a positive net present value and an internal rate of return greater than a weighted average cost of capital. If we increase the tablet fees by 10% annually, if we decrease the gross profit by 10% annually, if we increase the initial labor by 20%, or we decrease the extras such as the premium content and the additional sales by 20%, the project's still going to have a positive net present value. It's going to be worthwhile for the company, and it's going to increase customer satisfaction. Okay, moving on to the next slide, the implementation plan here. Basically, for the sake of this project, I'm considering that this business plan was submitted to the Board of Trustees sometime in the second quarter of 2013. And that's how I discounted the cash flows in the previous slide there. So the first stage would be the third and fourth quarter of 2013. We would create a tablet task force, which is kind of a combination of senior IT executives, other executives, and IT personnel and district managers. And they're going to come up with the end user requirements, and they're going to start a supplier selection process where they interview suppliers, quite similar to what we saw in the Harley-Davidson case. Phase 2 is going to be the first and second quarter of 2014, and this is going to be the contract negotiation period, and we're really going to hammer out a detailed service level agreement. So what our supplier gives us is going to be exactly what we want, and there's not going to be any surprises. And during this period, we're also going to conduct a little bit of a trial in selected target markets, and we're going to measure some of the in-place metrics that we have to see if the tablet is good and if we need to make any last-minute changes. In the third phase, that's going to be the third and fourth quarter of 2014, we're going to deploy the tablets everywhere nationwide. This is going to be the biggest cost phase of the whole project. We're going to have our people working in stores, that's the $4.2 million, and they're going to be working with the supplier of the tablets, and I'm going to be reporting directly back to the tablet task force. So they'll be kind of able to oversee the implementation. And then the fourth phase is going to be the first quarter of 2015, and basically it's just going to be the tablet task force meeting with the Board of Trustees, reviewing the project, seeing if anything further needs to be changed to move forward, to make the project more effective, or anything that needs to be changed. That's going to be the time that it's changed. So moving on to the last slide, I just want to, sum it up here. Basically, the tablet system is a great option for Panera, and it's a great option because it's in store, it's in the customer's face, it's going to get people to sit down, pay, and be comfortable and wait for their food. There's a lot of opportunity for them to be revenue centers in the store, from the sale of premium content, from increased sales on the tablet. And out of all the alternatives, I really believe that this is the best one for Panera. We're going to not only increase our customer satisfaction, but we really have the opportunity to increase our revenue and increase our profits. I thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.